Hello and welcome to ICLU India. My name is Hamza Lakadwala, and today I intend on explaining you what is attorney-client privilege. Attorney-client privilege is a name of a common law concept which provides confidentiality to any conversation or communication carried out between a lawyer and his or her client. According to the Black's Law Dictionary, attorney-client privilege is a client's right to refuse to disclose and to prevent any other person from disclosing confidential communications between the client and the attorney. It is believed that attorney client privilege is one of the oldest and most important elements of the legal system. This privilege between attorneys and clients encourages clients to make full and frank discussions to their legal advisors, who are then better equipped to offer sound advice or the best possible representation to their clients. Just as a doctor would require full facts of the issues faced by the patient to treat him or her well, any lawyer also requires full transparency and the complete facts of any matter to be able to provide good legal services and adequate representation to his or her client. Now, attorney client privilege as a concept evolved in England in somewhere around the 16th century, where this used to be a part of an honor based system where any advocate uh, chose to refuse to reveal the contents of a conversation or communication between his client and him or her. However, this entirely used to be on the attorney. So, if an attorney believed he or she wanted to disclose what the conversation was about, the attorney in question could waive this right. So, the rights of the client were not very well protected. Now, as the 18th century came along, the courts in England realized that the clients should have the final say in whether or not these confidential conversations ought to be revealed. And therefore, around the turn of the 19th century, it was recognized that attorney client privilege belonged to the client and the client only, which meant that every lawyer was bound by law to maintain confidentiality, and only the clients could reveal what the contents of this conversation were, and only with the client's permission can the lawyers reveal what the contents of the conversation were. Now, when the British came to India and brought along with them their legal system, they also brought along attorney client privilege, and this has ever since been an essential part of our legal system. Now, the law around attorney client privilege in India can be traced back to the Indian Evidence Act of 1872. Sections 126 to 129 of the Act deal with privileged communication that is attached to professional communication between a legal advisor and his client. Section 126 of the Act provides the scope of privilege attached to professional communications in an attorney client setting. It restricts any attorney or legal advisor or pleader, barrister, or advocate from disclosing any communication exchanged with the client and stating the contents or conditions of documents in possession of the legal advisor in cause and for the latter's employment with the client. This means that no lawyer under law can reveal any confidential information without the permission of his or her client. Now, Section 127 goes further and extends the scope of this privilege and ensures that interpreters, clerks, servants, or any other support staff in a lawyer's office which may have been privy to or may have heard these conversations between the lawyer and the client, they too are bound by this privilege, which means none of the interpreters, clerks, or any other support staff either can reveal what are the conversations which took place between a lawyer and his client in his office. Now, Section 129 lays down that no one shall be compelled to disclose to any court any confidential communication which has taken place between him and his legal professional advisor unless he or she offers himself or herself as a witness, which means that you as a citizen cannot be compelled to reveal what you may have discussed with your lawyer. And the only time that a court may find out that you may have discussed something with your lawyer is when you yourself choose to be a witness and you yourself, by your consent, choose to reveal it. Now, In India, any person who seeks advice from a practicing attorney who is registered under the Advocates Act will have the benefits and the protection of attorney client privilege. The Bar Council of India, in its rules, has stipulated that an advocate shall not directly or indirectly commit a breach of the obligations imposed by Section 126 of the Indian Evidence Act, thus reiterating the spirit of attorney client privilege. Without attorney client privilege, no person would ever have a proper defense or a fair trial. And as we all know, a fair trial is one of the most important aspects of any criminal justice system. Attorney client privilege allows a client to speak freely with his or her lawyer, get proper legal advice, and this in turn allows the lawyers to be able to defend their clients to the best of their ability in a court of law. In a modern legal system like ours, attorney client privilege is at the heart of justice, and without it, there can be no liberty. If you like this video, do consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and following us on our various social media platforms and sharing this video with your friends. I'll see you in the next explainer. Until then, thank you so much. Goodbye.